Check, check. Hey, is that working? I think it's working. Okay, let's give it a try. So I'm in record. I need to share a screen here. I'm going to share my Revit screen. Let's get it positioned. Good. So it's the right size. The second kind of lesson on for learning to use Revit as an architect, as a designer, is to focus on creating forms with Revit. The first lesson focused on representing a 3D form or architecture, so the representational aspect. This lesson focuses on making form. It's still not really architecture, as the focus is on functionalist form. Even with spatial functions, arguably, it still would not be architecture. To me, architecture must also address its physical context, its social context, its historical context, its economic impact, and many other factors. But making form is unavoidably part of architecture. Gaining an understanding of free form is an important skill for a Revit user and for an architect. Before we get started, it is useful to set a few parameters for the object that we're going to make. First, this object needs to fit roughly within a 20-foot cube. The only reason for this is to make it easier to make a model, a physical model. Second, the model will rest on a ground plane. This is just to make the physical model easier to display. Revit combines several editors, each with a rather different user interface and set of commands. The project editor is the default editor when you open Revit. Its purpose is to support some fairly simple design, place the design on a site, and produce drawings to support construction or communication. Open Revit and start a new model, a new project. And I'm going to use the architecture template here. And I'll just pick OK. A drawing area, much like a CAD system drawing area, appears. I won't go through the various commands. There are plenty of other tutorials to explain the commands to the project editor, and my purpose is not to make a building, but to make a form. So from the Site and Massing menu, find the Reference Planes command. Draw 4 reference planes that intersect to form a rectangle. Actually, in the Architecture menu. So we made our rectangle. An odd work pattern in Revit is that it encourages you to sketch with rough dimensions. You go back later to add precise dimensions. Change the dimensions to make a 100-foot by 100-foot square in plan view. So I can click on this reference plane and change the dimension to be 100 feet by typing it in. Whoops, it's not, that's too big. Undo that. $100 and this one I can make it 100 feet, and now we have a square. I could edit these a little bit to make it look a little bit cleaner. It doesn't matter very much, but you know, I like to make my long drawings look good. Next, use the Site and Massing menu to draw a topo surface. So I'll go to Site and Massing. I'll get topo surface. Now, I'm not going to really fuss over the topo surface. It allows you to place spot elevations, and then it constructs a ground form or topo surface from the spot elevations. For now, just place a spot elevation at each corner, and it's going to snap to the intersection of those reference planes. And I'll just click on the checkbox and it's done. If I want to see it, I can go to the site view and I can see it. I can turn on shaded, and it looks shaded like that. Now, next, I want to draw a property line to establish the limits of the sculptural form. So I'll go here to massing and site and pick property line, and I'll create it by sketching. And again, I can simply draw some lines like this, and they're basically connected because a property line has to be connected. And I'm going to make this 40 feet square. Changing the dimensions like that, and I'll click the checkbox to finish it off. So now I'm going to save the project with my 3 initials. Actually, I'm going to save it with my last name and first name. Kind of a verbose name, but more information is better than less information. And that's the first step.